Lesson number 2 from Van Nuys, California. We're just going to cover 2 chords today and 4 notes. So we talked again about 2 and 3, so you should know where the C note is. So going down in this lesson, C, B, A, G, C, B, A, G. We'll play those 4 notes. I'm sorry, C, B, A, F. And for the right hand, we're going to go. We talked about a C chord. This will be C twice without the E, then F. Like it'll sound like this. And then we put them together, and it sounds like this. And we'll continue next week. Thank you very much. Okay, now to the real lesson. Rita laughing. We're going to cover a 12-bar change in this. This is going to involve 3 chords. Let's see. All right. The 12-bar change, we talked about the C, F, and C chord, C, F, and G chord. And we'll refer to the beginning as the 1, 4, and 5 chords, which comes from degrees of the scale. Reviewing C, D, E, F, so that G, A, B, C. Once again, that the 4 chord is the 4th note in a scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th note in the scale. All right. Well, how we're going to do that is we're going to follow the standard blues change that you've heard in music. It'll come to you. So I'm going to play that one time. Well, let's review our major chords. Once again, this involves 3 major chords, and the major chord formula to drill that for the umpteenth time is play a note. The note of the scale, let's say, and then I will count 4, starting with the next note. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then starting with the next note. 1, 2, 3. Once again, fingering is important to use the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd finger, because then I'm able to extend here, go out, compared to if I use 1, 3, 5, I'm out of fingers unless I start playing crossing my left hand. Okay. So in this chord, we're going to play a chord change, what's called a 12-bar change, which is used in rock and roll, blues, etc. I'm going to use 3 different chords, all white keys. This will have the C major chord, the F major chord, and the G major chord. All of them in root position. Root position being where our thumb is, the name of the note. This is the C chord, starting with the C note, F and G, each one starting with that note. Only major chord, only white keys. So I'm going to turn on the metronome. And first of all, let me point out the changes. So I'm going to use the numbers, and since we talked about the formula for a major chord, once we learn one major chord, we have the formula for every major chord. But for this, we're just going to use C. And what I advise doing this is playing along with me, having this at the piano.
What he means is you're just going to use the key of C.
The key of C, yes. Okay, I'm going to turn the metronome on. And I'm going to the name of the chord as I play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord. 1 chord, 5 chord, 4 chord, and 1 chord. Turn around, 5 chord. So this will be a 12-bar major change. This will be a good time maybe to stop it and go over that once again. Okay? I'm going to continue right now, and we're going to do something with the left hand to make it musical. Now we can have a lot of music with this change in just what we did. So now I'm going to let you see my left hand. I'm going to play the exact same chords, but I'm going to, what we talked about, arpeggiating them. That's playing each note one at a time instead of going like that. When we get that?
Yeah, get that from me. I'm sorry. Drop the post-it note.
I'm going to take each chord and play up and down. And I could play it in infinite variety of ways. For this one, I'm going to play the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th note of the chord, and come back to the 3rd note of the chord. So there are 3 notes in this chord. Then I'm going to shift to the 4 chord, to the exact same pattern. All white notes, back to the 1 chord. And I'm going to repeat the 1 chord because I'm playing the pattern to the 4 chord. And I'm going to play the sequence, and you can play along with me. So once again, getting clear about this, what I'm doing is playing 3 major chords, the C, F, and G major chords, all white keys, and I'm arpeggiating. That is, I'm playing the notes of the chord 1 note at a time. Start going in a pattern of the first, the 3rd note of the chord, 5th note of the chord, coming back to the 3rd note of the chord, and then starting again. Start again. Okay, so here goes the pattern. We can play along together. 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm going to slow it down. That's too fast. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 chord, 4 chord to the 1 chord, and repeat to the 4 chord, and repeat 1 chord to the 5 chord, 1 chord, turn around on the 5 chord.
Now, why do you call that the turnaround? Because
The turnaround is a good question, because the turnaround, and it can be done in many different ways. Sometimes I'm using the turnaround. It lets us turn around to do it again. Also important, this little pattern over here, it's kind of a bracket with 2 dots, tells us that we repeat it again. So after the turnaround, this tells us to repeat, go back to the beginning, and start the 12-bar pattern again.
Now, could you do the turnaround by going an octave lower? With the 5, does that ever happen?
Yeah. So we can do. That'd be a way to do it. There's an infinite amount of possibilities. I'll just give you another possibility of how to do this. I'll give you a couple of different patterns just on the 1 to make it more interesting. Let's see. I'll just watch. So. Here's another way we can do it. That's another way we can go. We can do as a infinite possibilities. It's really limited to your imagination. We can also, but before getting too much of that, I want to show putting both hands together.
Okay.
That's the ultimate purpose of where this lesson is leading. How are we doing on time?
1 more minute. You can see it together, and then we'll cut.
Okay, we'll do this one time, and I'm going to break it down where we're going to go with this.
And that's the turnaround. We're closing it now.